This video, I admit, I've gone really lazy on, but we're finally here, and today I'll be talking about Devil May Cry 3. To me, this has to be one of my favorite games of all time just because I find it really fun, and it basically improves almost everything from DMC 1 and especially DMC 2. This actually adds in a lot of the more modern features we see in Devil May Cry, except for like instant style switching and instant weapon switching, because frankly, again, it was the last one, the PS2, and I'm guessing they just didn't really think that out through as much. But I do know that they actually add those features on the Switch boat. But for me, I'll be talking about like the HD remaster on the PS4 because that's the only one I play and own. So of course, all my likes and dislikes would just be on that. And note that I actually didn't really play this game originally back on the PS2 just because I never had it. So I'm not really fueled by nostalgia or anything. I'm just really like the game just because of how much it actually improved on the DMC formula and how much it basically just changed the formula for the better just because DMC2 wasn't all that good. And I'm glad that this game actually made all those decisions and just went out and made this one of the best games, or at least one of the best DMC games ever. But let's move on to the video, and I think the best part of this game definitely has to be the gameplay. To me, it feels like the true sequel to DMC1. It just feels really fluid and really smooth, and I feel like if you played more of the modern games like 4 and 5, you can have an easy time transferring to this one. And frankly, another thing that I feel that makes this game a little bit better to play definitely has to be the style system, and this one actually gives you an extra action to do. Depending on what style you pick, like if you pick Trickster, you can actually just dash around. If you pick Swordmaster, you can extend your combos and just other ones like that. There's about 6 styles in this game, and frankly each of them do offer up unique changes to how you approach combat, and that I really like. And there was another thing on the styles that I'll probably just talk about a little bit later, but again, I still do think that the style system and the gameplay in this game just go hand in hand, and it's just really fun. Another part that really makes me love this game definitely has to be the characters and their stories in this game. Dante here has to be his youngest incarnation yet, that being 18 years old, but to me this is one of my favorite versions. Here he's at his funniest and he actually does grow a lot throughout the game. Then there's Lady, which I feel has one of the better stories in this game, and in this case she wants to get revenge on her father. And then there's also Virgil, which is a counteract to Dante's whole story. I don't really want to explain it here just because I really wish that you could actually go see it for yourself, either that's on a Let's Play you see on YouTube or just playing it yourself. But I do think by the time you finish the game, you can fully see why these characters are really liked. Another reason I really do like these games definitely has to be the difficulty. It's not hard, at the same time it's not entirely easy. You can easily beat the demons along with the bosses just because they have noticeable patterns, and if you try hard enough you could just again overcome basically all the bosses. I've done it and I would say I pretty much suck at all character action, but I still do really like this game just because it's really skill based and you can get through it. So my favorite bosses definitely has to be all the Virgil fights, Agni Rudra, and along with Beowulf. Then there's the graphics, and frankly, I do think that this is probably one of the best looking PS2 games out there. The character models accurately portray the characters well because, back in DMC1 I kind of thought Dante looked stupid, and in DMC2 I thought Dante looked lifeless, but in this game, Dante and the other ones look really lively, and their character models just look really good. The environments also really look good, and I think this is probably, again, one of my favorite looking PS2 games. The music, I also really like the tower theme, the battle theme, and a bunch of other songs. I really do think that makes this game stand out a lot more. But other than those positives, this game still has a lot of problems. The next one will mostly just be affecting all the versions that isn't the Switch version, and that has to be the style system, or at least how it's handled. In this case, it's handled well. You can only use one style at a time, which is annoying if you played any of the more modern DMC games. In those ones, you can actually switch to any style at will with the D-pad, and when you go back to DMC3, it just makes it a lot more cumbersome. I really do wish that Capcom at least updated the game on the other platforms to add in style switching, but to me it's not the end of the world. Another thing that I also didn't like was that you can get easily lost in the tower. It doesn't help that I think the map system in this game kind of sucks, and almost none of the rooms have any indicators to where it leads to. You kind of just have to remember it on memory. And honestly, even on repeat playthroughs, I still get lost. The next point has to be the difficulty, and I know I praised it earlier, but there are times where it can just feel really stupid. With bosses like Nevin and Soberus, I feel that these bosses can just make people stop playing the game and just get pissed off a lot easier. Bosses like Soberus, I feel is a lot worse since it's your first real boss and you don't really know what to expect by that point, so you can get your butt kicked really easily. And trust me when I say that I still get my butt kicked from that boss, and it just is really hard and does a lot of damage for early on. On New Game Plus, you can easily do it, but of course, if you start a new playthrough, it's just not all that easy. And no, I'm talking about normal. You can swap the game to easy, but even on normal, I still do think it's really hard. And again, I'm talking about the special edition since that's what the HD collection has, since I've heard the original version, at least in North America, was a lot more harder in comparison. And speaking of the bosses, some of them are just not really fun to play against. It's either the arena that makes them really annoying or just the boss is just straight up annoying. These two bosses I'm going to mention, that being Gigalopede and Leviathan, are just really annoying, not really well designed. And I think, again, Beowulf is decent, but the arena is really small and I think the camera can just get a little bit weird over there. Another part that I feel dated definitely has to be how you move around, or at least how it feels to move around. I know I did mention, but the combat still feels nice, but outside of battle, I feel like there are parts that can make it feel a lot awkward. This especially gets worse in the last few missions where it's just platforming based, and DMC has never been good at platforming, and I feel the controls just get really worse there, because I guess you can kind of tell it's still somewhat a PS2 game. But frankly, even though that these games have a lot of problems, I still feel like these are the best DMC games out there regardless of all the flaws. You can get used to them, and frankly I don't think that a lot of them are glaring flaws that either just make this game terrible, because frankly this is still, again, one of the better games out there. I do wish that this game actually had updates on the PS4 version, since that's what I played, since the Switch version did actually add some of the updates to make it play a lot better. But still, out of all the PS2 games, I think this is the best one. It's not as weird to play like DMC1, and it's not as bad as DMC2. And I think if you're a fan of like the more modern DMC games, I feel like you owe it to yourself to at least try DMC3. But of course, before we end the video, we have to go over the likes and dislikes. Likes, gameplay, characters, good difficulty, pretty good visuals for a PS2 game, and good music. Dislikes, style system is the most dated, can easily get lost, can be a bit too hard sometimes, some bosses aren't well designed, and moving around is somewhat slow and sluggish. But regardless, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.